clearly? Like, is there any background noise or anything?
Nope. We can hear you this
Okay,
time.
cool, cool.
Alrighty, we are live and we have an interesting topic today. Some tea's gonna be spilled, so make sure that you got everything in place because it's piping hot. It's real piping hot. So make sure you take precautions. If you need to get your drinks, your snacks, make sure you need to run some errands. Make sure you do that because the tea gonna be piping hot for this topic. And today's topic is how to sense a heel turn. We're gonna have to
Hmm.
show y'all what a heel turn is. Look. Shall we?
Go for it. Pizza Siri.
Hey,
There she is.
hey,
Here it is.
Jabari.
Hey Siri, here is what a heel turn is.
Yeah, I'm real curious to know.
Is that the Marty Jannetty one?
Yeah. Oh, and they start with Booker T.
Bubba Ray just attacked. What are they doing? Dudley. And a 3D putting Jimmy to a table. And now Bubba Ray putting Jimmy through the table.
That y'all.
Oh, wait a minute. You know what? Play the Shawn Michaels Marty Jannetty one.
Okay.
That because that's like
Uh,
the original heel turn, so people get an idea of
oh, what he
exactly
called
what we're
it? What he
talking
called the
about.
sweet chan music? The sweet chan
Yeah,
music.
through the plate glass window. that right there is the original classic heel turn.
I thought it'd be fun.
And after you play that, then I'll give a dictionary definition of what it means. I think the Marty Jannetty one is the first one I sent you in the live stream chat in the barber. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we call a heel turn.
I get it now.
And let me give you the dictionary definition of what that means. A heel turn is a reversal of position or direction, especially a change in character or affiliation perceived as abandoning a righteous or heroic course in pursuit of an unscrupulous or villainous one, as the example we just provided. Just to let you know, the guy who went through the plate glass window, that's been me plenty of times. It's just, full disclosure, I know what it feels like to be Marty Jannetty. So
That is that is iconic.
that's a classic. I think that one and the Mark Henry one is probably like my favorites. Well, we can play
Uh,
Mark Henry later. We got the
yeah.
point. But let me let you take over and then I'll jump in.
Yeah, I'm just gonna piggyback on what he said. Actually, I'm gonna do this. There are certain indicators. There are certain indicators that will let you know when someone who claims to be about land infrastructure nationhood is about to heel turn, abandon their principles, and reveal themselves as a disingenuous tag along. In other words, people who roll next to the principles or around the principles but are never truly the principles. They will abandon those principles in a heartbeat once they inevitably become dissatisfied with what everyone else is not doing instead of focusing on what they should be doing.
Yep.
Mm.
And I
And
have some indicators that, like, some red flags that I can give, but I want to wait for you guys to chime in before I give mine.
yeah, so I will say this. It's always the biggest critics, and all two of y'all are gonna agree with this. The biggest critics are the people who don't have a resume or a body of work will be the biggest critics. You notice all the pro blackity black people, and you know who I'm talking about. They say they for the black community, they're for this blackity black so that they can lead the black community, but they never have a body of work to show for it, or they never give us a background on how they got to the where they were. So we're gonna take an example. The man who said he was gonna build a school. He says he's a psychologist. But notice he never says I'm a psychologist. I graduated from this university. I went to grad school at this university where I did research on this topic. I worked with these following students, and these students helped me uh, come to my conclusion, and this was the methodology in which I did it. After I got my education, my master's, my PhD, I went to go work at this university where I taught this course, I taught that course. They never say that. All they'll say is I'm a psychologist, and just expect people to take it.
Yep.
Same thing with somebody who used to be here was talking all of this blackety black stuff. But when you ask them their body of work, they don't tell you that. They'll say, you know what, I'm not gonna get into that. We're not gonna discuss that. Really. If you claim to be all this blackety black stuff, where's your body of work? Show me. Give me your background as to how you got here. Don't sit here and talk greasy about everybody. Show us your body of work. Tell us what you were doing. All right, Anubis. Run them donations. 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 Gifts. Gifts. No giving. Not giving. He's giving his wisdom. Something that's intangible, something we can't touch, something that can improve daily people's lives. That's his giving. Never, this is my body of work. This is why I chose this path. This is why I'm doing what I'm doing. And here's most importantly, here is the outline of everything. They'll tell you exactly, Umoja. There's books. Many books have been read. They'll tell you all the books that they've read, but they'll never tell you what they've done, what they've organized, what they've set up. You can tell me over and over again the books that you've read or the books that you've written. Show me the organization that you've done. Show me the work that you've done, and then I'll talk. And then you'll talk, and then you have the right to critique. I can talk about me. The reason why I'm so diplomatic, and everybody in the BIO, people in the chat, y'all all know I'm the most diplomatic person. I'm the most diplomatic person because I have a body of work that indicates that. That goes all the way back when I was in high school, when I was doing Model UN, when I was participating in debating, especially in college, especially this year when the transition. So in high school, I was doing Model UN, which was you represented the country and you dealt with the different topics. When I was even to a certain degree interested in the Young Democrats, although I didn't do as much organization as I wanted to. Um, and then once I got into when I went to my final high school before I graduated, I did the Black History. I was involved in numerous political aspects. So there never was a time in my life where I wasn't doing those courses in grassroots organizing. Okay. When I was in college, I went to South Africa. Y'all notice I went to South Africa. I took a political I took a political science course. I took an African philosophy course. I had to write a public policy paper. I ended up being active in the or was about to be active in the Economic Freedom Fighters, one of the major political parties there. I have a resume and I'm able to outline everything to you guys. And I just did. I'm showing you I have a body of work. This is why I'm diplomatic. This is how I came to where I be. These pro-black people, they will talk all day, but they'll never tell you the body of work that they've done. They'll never tell you I was a grassroots organizer. I was doing this before I got into this. It's just straight activism, or it's just straight mouth talking. It's not even activism, because activism requires you going door to door, actually doing grassroots stuff. You're just running your mouth and letting the other people do the work.
Mhm. Yep. Siri, I'm gonna let you go.
Well, I like this terminology. Heel turn. I didn't know exactly what that was. Thank you for that enlightenment. So I guess my take is more of a personal nature because I think everybody's probably come up against opposition at some point in their life. And like you, I like to point out or at least understand where people are coming from because there's degrees, right? We have people that can be considered frenemies or people that like to play devil's advocate or there's different types and roles that they show up in. The heel turn is that's a new terminology to me, but there's always going to be opposition. So it's important for us to know how to recognize when something or someone is not rowing the boat in the same direction that we're rowing the boat, essentially, because I think that's the context here that we're discussing.
Okay.
Oh, and Hala, before you get to your red flags, I'll also add, not only do they not demonstrate their body of work, but one of the things they'll say is you're compromising over a disagreement in strategy. They'll tell you, oh, you're compromised, or oh, you're this, or oh, you're not truly this because I have a disagreement on strategy.
Yeah,
That's a red flag as well.
you're
If you
right.
have somebody who literally they'll say you're compromised or y'all are frauds simply because we disagree on strategy, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Because everybody here has disagreements on strategies we should do or how things should be implemented. But guess what? Nobody here comes and says they're compromised. Nobody here says that anybody's disingenuous.
Right.
Go ahead.
Yeah. And before I get to the red flags, I just want to say something about Jabari, to give people a little history on why we're even focusing on Liberia and to show that you're an honest player. Because before Jabari, there used to be somebody in our group that was Mr. Liberia. And we heard this guy spout off and run his mouth all the time, but we never really got the connection between what we were trying to do with the BIO and Liberia until I listened to Jabari. And Jabari made the case, and it made sense because before then, and to, just to be consistent with history, I wasn't really on the Liberia thing. It was really off of my radar. But I just find it ironic that here you got somebody that's coming in talking about it and showing the connection between what the BIO was about and what Liberia is about, and just the whole concept of and reparations and the whole issues and whatever. And after I listened to him, I said, oh, okay, I get it now. That's what happens when you're dealing with genuine people, honest players. Because I've always said my opinions and my stances are subject to the evidence, the data and the evidence. If you can present a strong argument and I can't really refute it, hey, time to change my opinion. So with that being said, the number one indicator of somebody who's getting ready to do a heel turn And especially, we're going to do this within the context of the BAIO. I mean, there's other things we can use as context, but I want to use the context of Black African Infrastructure Organization and Land Infrastructure Nationhood. The number one indicator that somebody's going to do a heel turn is when they refer to the BAIO as something outside of themselves. In other words, when you hear, what is the BAIO's opinion on blah, 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 blah? What is the BAIO doing in terms of blah, 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 blah? You notice they do this because they don't see themselves as a part of the BAIO. Number one indicator. So when you see people coming up and say, oh, the BAIO this and the BAIO that, then you know that they're not making any connection between themselves and the BAIO. They're looking at the BAIO as some separate entity. Red flag number one. Anybody want to discuss that red flag?
Well, it's separateness, right? If the way that they speak is telling you that they are separate and they are not including themselves, that's telling you how they perceive things, right? They're separate from VAIO, so they're going to be criticizing it. It's always separateness. It's either if you are part of it, then you want to bring solutions to the table, or you want to ask questions that are supporting what we're doing instead of saying, well, BAIO is a separate entity. Tell us what you're doing. So that means you're not part of the solution at the end of the day. That's all you're saying. You're just a critic.
And to add to your point, Siri, when they do that, what they're saying is, I don't want to take responsibility and I don't want to take accountability. Because you notice people who are active in the organization, we always say, what are we doing? We never say we say, what are we doing?
Right.
What we have to do, what we need, because it includes me, it includes you, it includes you. If you're basically saying, oh, the BL, basically you're saying is, I don't believe that I should be doing anything. Y'all should be doing it. Y'all need to get this together. Y'all need to get this organized.
Oh, I'm sorry, Jabari. I'd hate to interrupt you, but we have some breaking news. Is everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay. Hold on. This is just hot off the presses. Today is Underrated Minds Born Day.
Wait, hold on. I can attest to that. So it's not May 22nd.
It's not May 22nd.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. It already passed.
It's not May 22nd. See?
Was this from
fake
my Facebook?
News? Fake news.
Was this from the Facebook?
Yes. Your Facebook alert said today was your birthday.
I'm so sorry, man. It's February 24th.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry.
Oh, he did
that.
A heel
that
turn
information was wrong.
He did a heel turn.
Yeah, he did a heel turn on the birthday. That information was wrong, but that shows you how close we are. We did not want his day to go by without acknowledging it. So happy belated birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it. To go back to the topic, yeah, I pretty much agree with Jabari and Asiri when they single themselves out by saying the BAIO instead of saying we. It does raise some questions, does give some side eyes, and you kind of just, well, not wonder, but kind of automatically figured out, like, okay, they're just kind of half in, half out, or just waiting to see, the big score, and then pop up later, like, yeah, we did it, woo, at the finish line. And it's like, wait, like, where were you? Like, last time I checked, you was at the concession stand, getting a Coke and Pepsi and not helping us out or contributed. So yeah. Definitely that's an indicator.
Max 611 is in the queue from In the
Peace.
Paint Sports Show.
Peace, y'all. What's up?
Peace. Yo, I wanted you on here because I know you can relate to heel turns because me and you've been working together since we was children. So you know about heel turns. Let's discuss the heel turn that happened with one of the members whose name starts with a D. And did not I not tell you a good month or so before it actually happened that it was coming?
Yeah, and I saw it because I really stopped fucking with the dude. And
What were some of the indicators that let you know that it was coming?
just the attitude change, the animosity towards certain situations and certain things. And I just can't fuck with you if you in the manosphere, because you just in the He-Man haters club with a bunch of angry dudes, and you and them dudes is angry for no reason and gonna stay angry. And that person just, I noticed they jump from this situation to that situation to this situation. You never really wanted to be a part of any situation. You just were broke. You didn't have a great job. You didn't have a great life. Now you great. Now you got a great life, and now you happy and disrespecting them.
That kind of segues into the next indicator. People that are with you, I should say people that are walking with you at the side, but not really with you. If you notice, there's certain people that hang around the BAIO. Like they may be in our circles, they may be in posts and stuff like that, but they never actually joined the group.
You go first.
Never actually joined. And we have a multitude of those people. Like they comment, they get involved in the subjects and stuff like that. They're around the content, but they aren't really a part of who we are. So that's another indicator. They're around us, but they're not with us. Indicator number 3. Well, you know what? Let's deal with that first. Let's deal with that one. The second one. What are your thoughts on that one?
Well, these days, the idea of followers, the idea of followers is not new, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I guess in some sense, followers can be harmless. But maybe in certain situations, followers are not harmless.
Right.
So we have to decide, I think, what's good for the group. Because you're always going to have followers, no matter what. Followers aren't going anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
And they're gonna
followers do.
fall off or stay with you.
Right. And I don't think followers can be a bad thing. You can use followers to help you get your agenda across as well. So it's up to you how you engage them, how you bring them in, how you, invite them in, or, instead of staying outside there sitting on the bleachers, come on in and get active.
What are we going to do?
It's up to us.
I agree. It's sort of like what the Art of War says about spies. Like the Art of War never says that you can eliminate spies. They just show you how to use them.
There you go.
They just factor that into the equation. It is always going to be spies. So you just have to know how to use the spies and then know how to identify what type of spy it is.
Yeah. And you use them till they become unuseful.
I got a little too dependent on pain.
Right.
Yeah, there's no harm.
But that's another indicator when they are hanging around, but not really a part of. And there's been people that's been hanging around us for years and who have not signed up to the BAIO.
Mm-hmm. And I would also say that these are the same people who are unrealistic in their demands, or unrealistic in their expectations, or look at you crazy on strategies that we should go about.
Well, not just that, but remember, Hollip, we had talked before about you've got people who are like early adopters, right?
Mm-hmm.
a new cell phone comes out, they're jumping all over the bandwagon. They're lining up at the store. They're sleeping on the sidewalk overnight. And then you got people who are going to wait until maybe a year in or 6 months in, then they'll buy the new product.
Mm-hmm.
So not everybody's going to jump onto the message right away. And that's just human nature. We're not all early adopters.
Mm-hmm.
And the message that we've got is one that takes effort. We're asking for effort. We're not asking for your money. We're asking for your effort and your time.
Right. It's a contribution centered organization. I think that's what you said, right?
Yeah.
And then how can you be critical of anything if you haven't done anything in it? You know?
Yep. Are there any other indicators you guys can think of? Because I got plenty. I'll let
Oh yeah.
somebody else go.
Oh yeah. I got plenty. Somebody is about to do a heel turn when they come into the group or they come into the conversation and they just talk the whole time and they don't listen to anybody. If you have somebody that comes into the group and they constantly keep talking and talking, but they never take a chance to listen, they're gonna do a heel turn on you.
Mhm.
Because at that point, it's no longer about the group. It's about me, me, me. It's not I get to be the center of attention. Now I get to finally be heard. And when people ask you to listen and you don't want to do that, that person is real quick to leave.
Right. Or you just disagree with everything. You constantly debating somebody or battling the consensus.
Oh yeah, I mean, and the thing is, they'll debate you on some of the most irrelevant things out there, stuff that's not even major issues to be debated on. It's not like should we debate on what is our foreign policy or what is our economic policies. The debate will be should we allow people who are of a different religion to be in the group? Should we allow people of different sexual orientations and gender identities be part of the organization? I mean, it's
Mhm.
not even serious. It's literally conversations that are
Right.
personal to people and have nothing to do with you. What does that
Right.
have to do with you? That's when you know they're gonna do a heel turn on you.
Right.
Yep.
Like Jabari, you're an engineer, right?
Yes.
I would take you over the person who's a forklift driver every day of the week.
But I guarantee you this, but brother, because of my orientation, folks will be like, nah, I'll take the forklift driver. Cause he's straight.
He keeping
He's
it real.
a real black man.
Mhm.
A heel turn, that's a heel turn right there's gonna happen. Because that shows me you're not
Right.
even confident in your own self. If you
Right.
say you are what you claim to be, that should be immaterial. If it
It
bothers you that
also
much,
right
that's a heel turn.
also shows their immaturity. Just growing up in high school, I have friends who they became gay. So what? People in my neighborhood they became gay. So what? Three of the baddest gangsters in my old neighborhood were gay. Three brothers. You know, that stuff is irrelevant. Long as we can all work together and respect each other, and you can't stop other people from being who they are. We're gonna have people different religions, different sexual orientations. Um, I
We're
know
gonna we're gonna have different
that
political views. We're gonna have different
right,
political views. We're gonna have different outlooks on strategy. That's just what it is. You have to be realistic. And if it's
right,
something that you can't control, that is personal, that bothers you, then you're gonna do a heel turn. And
Oh
you don't
yeah.
need to be
yeah.
here. You don't need to be here.
Oh, I got another one for y'all. But
Wait,
I
wait,
wanted.
wait. Before you start, I sent you an email. Open your email. I sent you a list.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on.
It's a lot of material.
Scales of opposition.
You got it.
Gotcha. Did you want me to read it or just
Yeah,
looking at?
yeah, use it.
Oh,
Yeah, let's discuss.
okay. You got enemies, nemesis, adversaries, and users. These are scales of opposition. The users are frenemies, opponents, haters slash fans.
Yep.
Adversaries are antagonists, devil's advocate, gaslighters, blamers, projectors, flamethrowers, hijackers, infiltrators, opportunists.
Mm-hmm.
Nemesis are bad actors, spies, informers, conflict entrepreneurs, agent provocateurs, puppets, puppeteers, handlers, messengers, narcissists, psychopaths, sociopaths. And if my computer would stop freezing, I can go to the next. Okay. That last one is enemy. Abuser, physical, mental, emotional, alcoholic, financial, gambling, drug addicts. Addicted, bullies, warmongers, terrorists. So those are the scales of opposition.
Right. And I think sometimes you find all of those in one person.
Wow.
I'm serious. The
Yeah, you
people we
can't. Oh
dealt
yeah.
with,
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
like the person who revealed themselves a couple of weeks ago when they said we were compromised. No, you were compromised months ago when I stopped fucking with you and your ignorance.
Yeah. I mean, this man. Talking about don't talking about he's the epitome of a user. The epitome of a user. Completely unaware of his surroundings. Completely unaware of reading the room, the temperature in the room, and what should and shouldn't be said. And this man
Right.
goes right along and just says stuff and doesn't even show the slightest sense of awareness. Maybe I shouldn't say that.
Right. Just like we had a discussion this like months ago, and we were talking about when Haiti was having a conflict. I have family members through marriage who are Haitian. I have many friends who are Haitian, and I just know what you know the outcome is going to be in Haiti. Haiti is a place that's really in a bad shape, and it's because it's gangsters running there, and so when Haitian people move, they generally move to a more stable area, which would probably be America. I can't fault them for that because you're living in a third world country and you need to go someplace where you can have basic needs. So homie goes, you a sellout, and
Oh
other
my
disparaging things,
god.
and I was done with him.
Oh my god. The thing that like I said, the same person that will tell you because remember this. We were planning our Liberia trip. Now, mind you, the same dude that said we're compromised is the same dude who told us that we were compromised. I'm the one who's doing all the planning and organization. I'm the one who's trying to get everything set up. I'm the one who's determined to go to the continent. This dude rolls up and asks, "So what we doing for the trip?" Ain't
Right,
done nothing, ain't did no planning. This man rolls up and says, "So what are we doing for the trip?"
right.
You ain't been doing nothing.
Right. He's also the dude when Hollop and everyone went to Rwanda. He went, but he didn't go with them. Why?
Oh wow! You know what? I didn't. Thank you. Thank you. I did. I totally just forgot that. You're right.
I got my own plans.
Yeah. This is the same dude. This is the same dude, y'all. This is the same dude. And Hollop can attest to this. Underrated. Assyria, I think you were there too. We were talking about we were talking about LGBT rights, right? And mind you, this man listens to Umar Johnson. And this is what really inspired me to want to do this especially clip.
Whoa. If you
This
listen to Umar Johnson, I'm sorry. If you listen to Umar Johnson, I can't fuck with you.
this man has
Donations.
this man has whole videos on his social media dedicated
Yeah,
to Umar Johnson. And I was like,
yeah.
yep, that explains a lot to me. That explains a lot to me. That tells me a lot about you. So this man was listening to Umar Johnson, right? And he was basically, it was a live stream that he was listening to with somebody else. It was the real African genie. I don't know who that is. I've never heard of him. Uh, I don't
I
know who
ain't
that
fucking with
is.
him either.
Like, all the bad people. He's already around all the wrong people. So this man literally. So I am literally the LGBT person in the room, right? Everybody knows that. Everyone in the BAIO, y'all know that, right? So this man says, so what do we do with the LGBT community? How do we eradicate them? He's
Oh,
literally saying this in the chat
You,
in front, like he's saying, so how do we eradicate the LGBT community, right? He says, well,
you
can't we just
can't.
thank you. But this man gonna sit here will say, well, we can just get rid of them. We can just like well, yeah, let's just get rid of them, right? Well, he says, well, if you just eradicate them, it won't solve the problem.
Well, one is it's not a problem, and two, it's that's never ever gonna happen, whether I like it or not, or anybody else likes it or not. People are just gonna be people, and they're gonna do what they do. I
How
would
about
rather,
minding your damn
right,
business?
right. I
How
would
about
rather have I would rather have people who are free to be themselves as opposed to them
Exactly.
doing other things.
And you know what? That very same point position that he has is going to be would be a turnoff to many would be members, because
Right.
I was reading a Twitter thread about basically saying African Americans going to Ghana, right? And you know what? One of the biggest quote replies was, they said, "Yeah, Ghana is great if you are a black Christian male or a black Christian woman, or you're a thing. If you're not that, it's not the place for you." So he says, I would love to go back to Africa and I would love to contribute. And I think they were like lawyers and stuff like that. They were highly educated and highly skilled. But he said, yeah, but because of the fact of my orientation, I don't feel like I could go because they show that they don't like people like me. And
Right.
it's people's like his position would be a reason why we would lose a skilled person like that person, lose a
Yep.
skilled lawyer, skilled doctor, because they want to be intolerant and care about somebody else's personal business. Remember, this is somebody's personal business, nothing to do with you, but you're so concerned about where somebody else. That is the equivalent of BAN, as Hala
yeah,
perfectly said,
Yeah.
the epitome of, and we don't need that. We don't need
yeah,
that. And
yeah.
that's why we say specifically, we are inclusive, because you know what? The minute we say that, the heel turns start coming. The heel turns
Hmm.
will come
Let him go.
quickly.
Let him go.
Yo, Mac.
Yes, sir.
Imagine if me and you. This is when we were first coming into the knowledge of our culture and whatever, and we walked into the slave theater and we got up, stood up in the middle of the audience and told Ultimatics, "You're compromised."
Right.
What did we do opposite of that? We set our asses in the seat and listened to
And
people who are
listen.
more intelligent than us and more knowledgeable than us and wiser than us.
Right.
You got
Right. And
people
we
that just
also
came into the knowledge a hot minute ago, and now they're judging people who have 20 to 30 years in this business.
right. And the slave theater was a good place because there were a multitude of different religions, people from vast different backgrounds, and that was a great cultural place. I wish we still, well, we do have that at the AIO. So um, people don't know how to read the room.
Thank
People
you. Thank you.
are not intelligent. They're very ignorant. Very
Socially awkward.
right,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Sound
And I
familiar?
think yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That
And I think
actually
when
sounds
people
pimps and
sounds
skeezers and gangbangers.
when
Sound
people
familiar?
get knowledge, they get haughty with it. And
Yeah.
me and Hollop have never been haughty. I've always been open to learning any and everything from anybody. You can learn stuff from a bug.
Yeah, and you don't feel the need to try to be super black man, Mr.
Yeah, Mr.
Blackness.
Pro Black, Mr. I'm the king of blackity blackness, king of pro. Who gave you that key? Nobody gave you the key to determine who's more blacker than who. People's definition of
And I tell
blackness
you
is
one thing,
subjective.
I ain't giving the key to no nigga who just came into the knowledge a couple of years ago.
Also,
You just read a couple of Amos Wilson books, and now all of a sudden you the realest cat in the room. Get the
not
fuck
only
out of
that,
here.
they'll read the knowledge, but they'll never go out and actually organize and actually do the work. They they'll
Right.
be the biggest readers. Like I said, I was going into the knowledge back when I was in high school. But you know what? When I saw this, when I started getting the knowledge, you know, one of the things I was originally on the Nation Within the Nation, right?
Yep.
So even when I was on that Nation Within the Nation, what I started doing was I started looking at the economics of all the southern states. What is the overall black population? What do we need to do so that we can get the levels of power or get to this goal? That was my mindset when I got to the knowledge. Then when I started focusing on Liberia and I realized it clicked to me, it's like Liberia, we obviously have a country. Let me do more research. Let me go reach out to historians and who's been doing that work. And we got it literally on our YouTube channel. We have had historians on here that have educated many of our members on Liberian history and debunked the talking points. But that's requiring what? Me doing the work, me
Well,
organizing.
what y'all been talking about? Peace, everybody. It's really good to hear everybody on here, straight up, especially
Peace,
Peace,
bro.
Emoji.
Yeah, peace emoji.
like it's good to hear all y'all. Like y'all been talking about some good stuff. Very good conversation this morning and afternoon. But what it come down to, like what I'm getting, like the gist of it is really people's personalities, and ultimately, I know it's cliche to say, but it still holds true. It's ego, right? And it's like
Yep.
people thinking that they know everything, like you, because everybody at least had the opportunity to be there, right? Because I remember when I first came like quote unquote conscious and everything, I was like wanting to do little videos and stuff like that, and then I started looking around. I was like, wait a minute, everybody doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? I was like, I don't want to just be like in the same watered down thing. Like everybody doing it cool, right? Like I actually want to do something and organize with some people and like make a quote unquote change. And then I see that a lot of people just want to be bullshitting. So I was like, all right, y'all full of shit too. So I need to find something. That's where the BIO came. And this is what's important to me. Like this is what's still important. I don't even think about it because it's like just normal. But I've been rocking with the BIO since like it was either the end of like towards the end of 2018 I don't know, whenever y'all went to Rwanda, like right before y'all went to Rwanda, like that's when I met y'all. But since I know y'all, how many times y'all didn't ask me for anything? Like literally, like especially in terms of like money. Like how many times anybody in the organization have asked me for anything? Whoever who known me since I've been
But
here, answer that.
but
Just
emoji, I
I got a
couldn't
couple
hold
questions
something
for
though if I needed, right?
absolutely. Like
I'm
straight
joking,
up
bro.
though, but nobody could say that. And in return, how many times have I asked anybody for anything? Like straight up, outside
Right,
of like hear this or like read this or something, like straight up. How many times, y'all?
right.
Yeah.
Right.
And just
Yeah,
like
sometimes
years
not.
ago, I know Holla, my brother who passed away, who was one of the founders, he needed help, and brothers helped him when he needed it, you know? And that's what I respect about everybody here in the organization.
Yo, Jabari,
Yeah.
can you play that Mark Henry clip? I want to litter like these heel turns in so people can get the idea of what we're talking about. Because that's another classic heel turn right here. Oh, what song is that?
Oh. Oh, it's an advertising.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I say it's really good though.
This fool looking at the dang playoffs. We sitting up here talking about land infrastructure.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is what they call a classic heel turn. That's how you do it.
You think it's that easy? I got a lot left in the tank.
Siri is learning something today, aren't you?
I don't know where to put that on my list. That's what I'm learning.
Imagine that. We got Liberia established. And all of a sudden, somebody turns the heel,
Sweet chin music.
shoots the president or something. You think it's that easy?
America still got enough in the tank.
You thought you was having your own nation?
You know what's funny?
Not on my watch.
I see people, they wearing unks and African dashikis and all of this. And then when I talk to them, yo, so I got this group, we ready to go here. Well, we need to stay here and fight. Fight what? What is that about?
Those are interesting people because they never arm themselves. You ever notice? They're not about getting a gun. They're not about, learning to even shoot archery or something.
Because it's really not about fighting. Let's be real. Even the people who do have guns, and even the people who put on the little black suits and outfits, and even come together sometimes and march and do demonstrations and have videos of themselves fighting with knives and all that other stuff. You never see anybody get touched. Let's be real. When do you hear about them people getting touched by anyone?
Never.
By anyone.
Well,
like ever. Just give me an example, right? So
let's be real. Let's be real.
It's not to really fight. We don't really want to fight. So let's just get that out the way.
Let's stop even saying we're fighting. It's the fact that black people deep down inside know that if America really wanted to, they could the damage they could do if they really wanted to do is unparalleled. You know that. That's why you don't try it. Because if you really did something, America would go hands, gloves off on you. You know it. You know better.
Emoja.
Yes, sir.
I got something that I want to quote, and this will probably be a clip, but you already know what's coming, so I'll tell you. Here's a quote. You can't truly call yourself peaceful unless you are capable of great violence.
My goodness.
If you're not capable of violence, you're not peaceful, you're harmless. Important distinction.
I mean, that goes into this this video I saw. I want to show it to you because that goes into this quote. I think it was if I can find it.
But it's a good distinction to make because that's really where we are. We're harmless. That's why 10 people can get shot up in a grocery store. Harmless. We've been indoctrinated to the point where we have learned not to be the ones seen as violent when really we never were. We were just defending ourselves. So not even self-defense or defending yourself is an ideology that we embrace. And that is dysfunctional because that is not human nature. Human nature is going to defend themselves.
Okay, so I found the video. And I want to play it. It's from It's from France 24. I think it's from France 24.
Alexander will be 18.
Hold on. I'm gonna play it. Let me share my screen real quick.
You think it's that easy? My name is Robert, and I'm a bootlegger Negro.
All right, so I wanna.
He's a member of an extracurricular patriotic military club, which links sport with military training.
From our childhoods, they instill us with patriotism, a love for our country, and our army.
This kind of patriotic military education is a priority for the Russian state.
In the 1990s, when the army was in tatters, everyone tried to avoid military service. Now the army is strong again, and that's thanks to our leader, Vladimir Vladimirovich Putin.
After his studies, Alexander wants to be an officer in the secret services.
I'm a patriot. If you want peace, get ready to wage war.
see
And
it.
that's what I'm talking about, is that's been beaten out of us.
Yo, can I quote you on something from the Buffalo shooter before the attack?
Yep.
What?
He says, "Why did you choose?" And he has in quotes redacted for a place of attack. This is his manifesto, basically. And he says redacted has the highest black population percentage zip code, and he has a zip code blanked out, and isn't that far away. Plus, New York has heavy gun laws, so it would ease me if I knew that any legally armed civilian was limited to 10-round magazines or cocked firearms. I replaced the name of the city to redacted because I prefer that the FBI and local police don't know until the attack has started. After the attack, can someone please switch it over?
Mm.
This is what he was saying online before the attack. Are you going to hear that on mainstream news?
No.
The shooters go where there ain't no guns.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's always what white supremacists will do. White supremacists will show up into the black neighborhoods that are soft targets. They won't go after
Yep.
black folks who will actually, get down. They'll probably pull up to like maybe one or two black people who are harmless, and that's it. But they remember what happened when it happened in Memphis. Vice did a whole video about it, right? When it was the Ku Klux Klan came into town, and it was the Memphis black organizations. They basically got together and said, "You're not gonna come here." So the police was forced to get involved. They were forced to barricade basically the black people from getting to them. Because, like I said, they're not gonna pull up in an area where they know they can face retaliation. They know it. They know it.
Never do. They always do stuff in cover or in large groups where they're small groups. They basically punks.
Oh yeah, they are. Look at what happened. Look at what happened with January 6th. We look at what happened with January 6th in Charlottesville, right? They were acting all bad and stuff, right? And the minute the FBI said we're gonna put you under arrest, they started crying. They started saying, this is not fair. I shouldn't get jail time. Like they're delusional. They think, and this is warped. And I want to compare this sort of to the blackety blacks, the super blackety black folks. They got a warped view thinking that it's gonna be that easy, that you just gonna pull up and there's not gonna be a response, or there's not gonna be some sort of action. They think they can just do it and they're just gonna get off like, yep, that's it. That's not how any of this works. It's like what we keep saying with the nation within a nation folks, right? They'll keep telling us, oh, the US government will give us some states. The US government will allow us to establish a nation with 5 states. And we're all sitting here like, you think the US is going to let you do that and they not respond?
That will never happen.
It's like,
I'm putting the scales of opposition in the general chat. So when y'all want to take a look at it, you can.
mm-hmm.
Thank you, Siri.
And see, and see,
Anytime.
and Umoja, that's the point right there. Our people know that we ain't got no shot here. That's why they ain't really doing it. If they really thought they had a shot here, they would go for it. But we all know they ain't no shots. Like
We
we ain't got
if
no
we were
chance.
really about it, we would organize covertly, but we don't have those people who are ready to do stuff like that.
Because the odds are stacked against you, and you know how America finna respond. Like it's like when people were like, "Oh well," and this is what irks me, and also will get you some heel turns. Oh, which we can also factor in going to heel turn. They know it, but yet they don't change or they don't care. So with the January 6th, right? They were like, if that had been a group of black folks, we would have never got that far. We all know this. Like, why are we uttering something that we already know? We know this is gonna happen. That's why to me, I tune out. I mean, I'm paying attention, but I don't care. Why? Because we know this. You're
No,
telling us stuff that we know
that's
already.
that's not the sick part. That's not the sick part. That's not the part that makes me want to throw up. The part that makes me want to throw up in everyday life when is when these things in the in between and in the meantime, why these things happen intermittently. Because remember, a couple years ago, I can't even remember, but a couple years ago, when a white boy went into the church and killed up 9 people, remember
Oh,
that? I think that was,
Dylan Roof,
yeah,
yeah.
remember. So these things happen intermittently, and when I say intermittently, I don't mean police killings or vigilante killings. I mean somebody going to a group of black people and shooting up some shit. That actually happens like a lot, right? But in the meantime and in between time, when it's people like us saying we need to organize and get out of here, people act like we're crazy and act like we're just talking crazy for no reason, like we're radical and these ideas
Mm-hmm.
are something that's impossible, and that what are you talking about? We can do it right here. Like things are happening now. Look at all the good stuff that's happening now. It's like, no, weirdo. Like somebody could really get killed. Right, I'm driving right now to an appointment. I can get pulled over and killed for moving too quick. Like right now, live. Like, and that's an actual part of my reality. Whether we want to like address that or not is something different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is that things are not that great here. No matter what we want to talk about, how it can be somewhere else, and whatever fantasy world we have in our minds about what life could be somewhere else, things are not great here for us at all, and it don't look like it's going to get good here for us at all. That's the reality. So
Mm-hmm.
unless we want to deal with that,
And
and people don't want to deal with that, I don't even want to like verbalize what it is and what it ain't. People just don't want to deal with that. We do,
it's
but the average people don't want to deal with that.
and to add to your point, Emoja, they like doing it after it's happened. So yeah, we should move back to Africa after it's happened. So after the situation happens, well, maybe we should consider moving abroad. Maybe we should move back to the continent. We've all been saying you should have been trying to do that. We should have been organizing earlier. This stuff wouldn't have happened. Some of the best things in order for it to stop is to prevent it from happening. Our response shouldn't be, well, you know what, this country really doesn't care. You know, maybe we should go abroad after it's happened. That is okay. When one, let's say hypothetically something, let's say it happened, right? Then we say, okay, we all need to get up out of here. We see this happen. No, we're not taking any more chances. That's the thing. We gotta stop thinking that one day it's gonna like I'm not taking any chances. That's why to me, I'm hopping up out because I'm not taking any chances. I'd rather not. I'd rather be safe than to be sorry. There's a reason why that phrase exists. I'd rather be safe than be sorry. I'd rather be in another country on the continent, in Liberia, in Grand Cru, in Sino, in Grand Jita, knowing that I'm safe than to regret it later.
And I promise you, anybody on here listening or anybody on this live right now, who any of us who've been to the continent can attest, we are safe, man. We are absolutely safe and loved on the continent. No, and we didn't been to different places, like
Mm-hmm.
not all over the continent, but I know where I went, where I was safe. I felt very safe and taken
Yep.
care of, like personally. So I don't know everybody else's experience, but I know I feel safe, and I can't wait to go back
And
personally.
that's
Same
the
I
here.
think
misconception.
I think it's disgusting here. I think it's disgusting here. I think it's disgusting that we have to have these conversations about our people getting slaughtered here. I promise you, I do not like it. I cannot wait to just get back there just to go on vacation. Straight up, I can't wait to be gone from this damn place.
I think
It's ridiculous.
what's happening to us is that we've been beaten into submission and to accept what's happening to us as normalized
Man,
behavior.
I love your voice on here. Preach, please keep going. For real though.
And what we need to light a fire under our people is to let them know this, you have to look at it through a different lens, which is risk. How do you assess risk in your own personal lives on a day-to-day basis? And if the wider community is targeting you and making you a scapegoat and criminalizing you and attempting genocide on your group collectively, that is high risk, and you need to see it as that.
And
Because
also,
they can pass all the no lynching laws that they want and put it on the books. That's not going to stop these types of groups that have that way of thinking of supremacy, that because
exactly.
their birth rate is low, we must be exterminated, because that's the logic that they're using right now.
Yeah,
That's always been their logic. Go ahead,
and here's the thing. It's always predicated. Why are they so concerned about birth rate? Why? One reason is they're afraid of being the minority. But why are they afraid to be the minority? They're afraid that we would do the exact same thing to them as they done to us. And they know this, but they don't care. Why? Because they're comfortable with it. They like the fact that they're able to mistreat you. They like that. And once they're not able to do that, they get scared.
Yeah, and they are really the minority when you look at people
globally
in the world versus them.
Yo, I just want to give an example of how you cannot fight a system as an individual and expect to win. You heard me talk about like a bunch of people in dress clothes going against the Patriots, but I got another one for you. Remember the LA riots?
Yep.
I remember when after the Rodney King verdict, everybody went
wait,
crazy and lost their mind.
My bad, Hollow. I wasn't even born yet. I heard about it.
You was thinking about the other riots?
No, I'm talking about after Rodney King, and everybody lost their mind. Everybody was like, they was doing like they had scenes where the dudes was pulling white dudes out of trucks and throwing them with one hand. Everybody was like, yeah. And everybody got all of that angst out of their system. Guess what happened after that? They went back, saw the videotape, and got every single person that they had on camera. That's what happens when you have a system. So all this little emotionalism, all this little bullshit, this rioting and this protesting, this nonsense means absolutely fucking nothing when you're going against the system.
Also, that's what happens when you have a government. You have leverage when you have a government, because guess what? And I'll never forget this video. It was long ago, but he was like, imagine the amount that was happening to Black people was happening to another nationality. Let's say Japanese or Koreans or China, right? If that was happening, if these high profile cases were happening to their nationalities, best believe the Japanese government would be involved right now. Oh, there wouldn't be no need to march and protest. I mean, yes, there will be marches and protesting, but the Japanese ambassadors would be like, so what's going on? When the US has the next trade deal that's going on, Japan's gonna be like, we have some concern before we even start this trade deal. What's going on with you and that? What's going on with you?
Well, what every race, nationality, and ethnic group seems to understand about America is that it is made and for white people. Even the people who come here and make money from off America, and even the people who do business with America, understands that America is for white people, particularly middle-aged white men. At this time, old-ass white men. That's the gist of the America as a corporation. Everybody understands that. And when it comes down to America as a society, everybody understands that as well. And everybody understands that Black people since the inception of America has been at the bottom and has been a burden.
Everybody knows.
Everybody understands that, and even Black people. But when it comes down to us trying to talk about changing it, we want to put the responsibility on white people changing their attitude about us and being nice. We want to wait for reparations, and we want to wait for these niceties from white people instead of saying, hold on, what are we going to do? Are we just going to sit up here and be the bitch of everybody for infinity?
That's why it was so funny, man. From a nationalist perspective, it was so funny after the George Floyd thing, seeing white people was, experience for a brief moment white guilt, and they supported Black Lives Matter simply out of, it wasn't because they actually supported it. It was to make themselves feel better about themselves, because what happened was just so obviously racist. And what did the Black Lives Matter and the woke people and all these motherfuckers who claim that people should be listening to
Let's Black Lives Matter. Yeah.
All of them.
We were going to do
all of them. What did they do? What did they do?
A live stream about it next week. We're going to do a live stream about it next week.
What did they do?
They took the bag. And they
used that opportunity. No, forget that. They took that opportunity to try to attempt to make white people feel guilty about every fucking thing throughout the entire American history. So they went back to John Wayne, they went back to the Golden Girls, they went back to John Jemima. They peeled up everything to try to elicit white guilt. And then what happened? White people turned on them and said, yo, you know what? Fuck y'all. Isn't that what happened? Is that an accurate description of what happened?
Yep.
I would
Exactly.
actually say that's a little too soft spoken. That's not even why they're upset. Well, I would say like this. They were like, yeah, you know, I support Black Lives Matter. I support Black Lives Matter. So as long as I don't have to change anything, as long as I give you symbolic victories, that's what matters. Now, when some black people were saying, how about we abolish and get rid of this police force? Oh, no, you going too far. Up, no, now y'all getting a little
but would you agree with me that the basic sentiment was, you know what, fuck y'all. I'm trying to understand y'all and say that I'm sympathetic to your cause, but now you're trying to make me feel guilty. Fuck you and your cause.
They were sympathetic to the cause as long as it's symbolic.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our people are so dumb, especially we get led by the black church. The black church lets the Dems come in, and the Dems get their chicken dinner, shake hands, give the rest check, bounce.
You remember this? Yo, thank you for that, Mike, because Ultimatic said something and I didn't even notice it at the time. I thought it was a brilliant insight. Black people are the only ones, any other religion, Catholics, no matter, the president cannot get on the pulpit and preach. Nobody allows that. But in the black church, the president can get up on the pulpit and preach to the congregation. No other religion allows that.
No, I would say it back further. I would say this. One of the biggest issues is with the black church, and this is just with us, like being as Emoji said, beaten down, is we're the only group of people that still, to a degree, still worship the religion of the colonizers. Let's call it what it is. Because what do these people in the black church constantly parrot? They parrot white talking points. You walk up in a black church and pull up to a white church, sometimes you can't tell the difference on what they preach. They'll preach literally the exact same thing as these white churches. So can we really be surprised that they feel comfortable preaching to a black church? I mean,
but think about that. The fact that he can, like a president can get up in a black church and get on the pulpit and preach, yet he can't do it in Catholic or any other religion. Symbolically, what does that mean? It means this is my shit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
this is my
for me
shit.
when I run.
The black church, I mean, literally, the black church was created because black people couldn't get into white churches. Like, it's literally a replica of the white church. I mean, yes, the black church was to keep, and like you said, because the black church is only a social organization. But let's not get it twisted. Like, the black church was built because of the fact that black people couldn't get into white churches. So we built our own churches and we mimicked it off of white values.
Isn't that funny though? Like, isn't that hilarious that you can't get into a church, a place of holiness and all this other shit because you're black? I find that to be hysterical. That is the ultimate.
Hey.
I mean, bless his soul.
So the victor goes to spoils.
Yeah.
Oh,
MLK,
love your neighbor as you do yourself. Do unto others as you can do before they do unto you, and all of this other, the 10 Commandments and all this other shit. And oh shit, the nigga.
Check it. It's even more insidious than that, though. It's even more insidious than that, though. You not worth. God don't even like you because you black. Right? First of all, God don't even like you because you black. You can't worship this. However, we want you to worship this God that don't like you.
Exactly.
You need to worship this God that don't like you.
Umoja.
No, you better worship this God.
Hold on.
Exactly.
You gonna love this God that don't like you more than even I do, you dumb nigger. How about that?
That's the reality.
Think about it.
That's the reality of it. You gonna turn your cheek more than anybody. Damn it, you gonna love your enemies more than anybody, dummy. It's crazy.
I want you to think about Umoja. I'm glad that you got that point because I put some stuff in the chat. And I'll show you what he's talking about, right? So you have MLK, blessed be his soul. MLK literally said the most 12 o'clock, I think it was 12 o'clock Sunday is the most segregated time in America. And he said that because what? Black and white churches, they're like white people at white churches, black people at black churches. But let's talk about what he was saying about worshiping in God. What was one of the reasons why they justified black people being enslaved? The curse of Ham, that black people were cursed, right? We've all heard that, right? And what does that do? They've taken it not just we don't like black people, but I put in the article they don't like black things. And let me show it again. Let me show you this. Y'all think that they don't associate anything that's black is bad? Look at this. Look at this right here. Look at this right here. It's even called a syndrome, black dog syndrome. Why black dogs are less likely to be adopted than their lighter skinned counterparts. If you're a black dog, you're less likely to be adopted. And one of the reasons why they cited it was racism was one of the factors that was part of it. That's one of the reasons why black dogs are not adopted. Why aren't black cats adopted? Black cats are not adopted because black cats are seen as what? Bad luck. Bad luck. Black robots experience racism as well. And this shows it right here. Even black robots are impacted by racism. That is how they get you to a psychological level. Everything that is black is bad. Black cats, black dogs, black robots, black magic. So what does that mean? If you're black, you must be bad because you're black. You're cursed. You're bad.
Yo, can I read something to y'all because I don't want people. There might be people who don't understand what you say, the curse of Ham. You know, like we assume that they understand what we're saying, but I want to just clarify that. In the essay, the Hermetic hypothesis is origin and functions in time perspective. Edith Sanders offers evidence of some of the earliest racial perspectives on the Hermetic curse. These perspectives are described as fanciful rabbinical expansions of the Genesis verse, like the one below. Now I cannot beget the fourth son, whose children I would have ordered to serve you and your brothers. Therefore it must be Canaan, your firstborn, whom they enslave. And since you have disabled me, doing ugly things in blackness of night, Canaan's children shall be born ugly and black. Moreover, because you twisted your head around to see my nakedness, your grandchildren's hair shall be twisted into kinks, and their eyes red. Again, because your lips jested at my misfortune, theirs shall swell. And because you neglected my nakedness, they shall go naked, and their male members shall be shamefully elongated. Men of this race are called Negroes. Their forefather Canaan commanded them to love theft and fornication, to be banded together in hatred of their masters, and never to tell the truth. So just so we can be clear.
Well, hope y'all have a good day at church.
Church.
We in church right now.
Thank you.
How about that?
And think about it, right? You have black people who are so conditioned, like I said, everything black is bad, that they deem their own traditional African religion as being demonic and satanic. They anything that originates from black people or anything that's black is seen as demonic. If you worship voodoo, oh, you're that's demonic. You worship Ifa or Santeria, that's demonic, that's satanic. Why is everything about us demonic, but everything that originates from Europe or is white is angelic or is good or is beautiful? And that's what? Programming. That is, they chose to do that, which is why to me it's problematic when I hear people say this stuff. And this all goes back to, again, the heel turns. The best way to change people's minds and the best way to convince people is actually to lead them. Is to actually be by example. Look at what we're doing. We're having this discussion, but outside of this discussion, we're organizing. We're writing stuff. We're doing brochures. We're doing TikTok videos. We're doing all of this stuff. We're speaking with people. We're having conversations. We're not just preaching and bashing it in their heads
Hmm.
because we can disagree all we want to. We can disagree with it. But at the end of the day, us disagreeing is not going to change nobody's mind.
This is yeah,
And
right.
for
And
the
this
record, sorry to interrupt you, Emoji, but for the
go ahead.
record, thank you for the curse of being shamefully elongated. Go ahead.
And may the church say, "Hey, motherfucking man."
Amen.
My big brother. Uh, but this is kind of on topic, kind of sort of off topic, but that same curse, there's a semi-large section of us, brothers and sisters, who use that same curse to like say that they not African. I'm talking about some of the
Yep.
Hebrew Israelite
Yep,
sects.
yep.
They use that same thing without just
Farrakhan.
trying to keep us separate. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, like I said, it's on topic, because it like divides us, and it's kind of that religiosity piece of it, and it's just weird, But yeah, it's just sad. It's just sad how we go for everything and anything. Everybody starts saying amen. It's so crazy. Yeah.
And my thing about it is, and my thing about it is, and my thing about it to show and to go back to your point about them like basically like dictating our religious identity is think about yeah, I mean great, granted, like I said, granted, I respect the black church. The black church has been pivotal historically, but people forget about they focus on the kings, they focus on those reverends, right? They don't tell you, or they don't focus on this is a sadness about the black church. They don't focus on those pastors who were about going back to the continent, who were preaching on the pulpits
Yeah,
that on a daily basis,
yeah,
who actually got up and actually left because many of the people who went to Liberia were actually ministers and pastors who led their whole congregation. Bishop Henry Menil Turner was one of the biggest advocates going back to Africa. George Alexander McGuire, Alexander Crummell. There were plenty of black Christians. So I don't want people to say like, oh, well, if you're a black Christian, you're disqualified from us, so you're not part of it. They should. That's not the point. It's just the way that the black church has been now and some of what it's been historically and the fact that we negate or a lot of black people negate that nationalist sentiment from black churches from black pastors to me is a problem is the huge problem and it's demonstrated today. We'll give so much love and so much things to reverends who are about it's class like it's about class struggle you know we gotta unite the class together, right? Like basically working people, and granted I understand that class warfare and class analysis, I get it, I understand, but just the fact that they're not included, those leaders, like I said earlier, Henry Menil Turner, Alexander Crummell, black pastors who was really about it, is a problem. And that's the biggest unfortunate because they did a whole AME church article back in the 1880s, and they said that black people should love themselves. And that was coming from the AME church. So, but it was like in 1886. But we don't hear that today. We hear trying to integrate to America, how we can build America, instead of using that same Bible that said that Moses said, "Let my people go." Remember, he didn't say, "Let my people in." He said, "Let my people go." Remember that Exodus verse?
Hmm.
We don't ever quote that.
There's a lot of Bible verses we don't quote because it doesn't fit the narrative.
I think we should really, if we're honest, realize that we've been programmed and that we need to deprogram ourselves. Because that's
Hmm.
the honest truth. White people didn't get where they are today because they sat silent. They put together a huge multi generational propaganda campaign, decade after decade after decade after decade, so that you move, we move two steps ahead, but then they pull another trick out of the bag that they're going to use in their propaganda. And you have to combat. this type of indoctrination and propaganda. Because a lot of it is lies. You can't just sit here and go, oh, it's lies, leave it alone, it'll dissolve. No, we have
No.
to combat it.
Yeah,
Right.
like it's the same thing what we do with Liberia. We have to push back on it because if you don't push back, it allows the narrative to fester because it's
Right.
going unchallenged. So you have to challenge it. And also, I would say that we need to focus on Africanization of our institutions. So, for example, the black church shouldn't be identical to the white church. It shouldn't be chocolate covered, a chocolate covered white people church. The
Thank you.
black church should be unique. So yeah, the black church should have African features to it. It should be okay to synchronize. It should
Hmm.
be okay for me to go up in a sanctuary and see Ogun or Oshun or Oromula or Olaroon, Oladamare. It should be comfortable for me to do that. This is an Africanized version of the religion. So we're gonna have our African features. We're gonna have the drums. We're gonna have the African instruments. We're gonna have the African rituals and ceremonies and spiritualities and spirits. That's okay. And more churches need to do that because a lot of young black people are leaving the church. They're leaving the church. Why? Because the black church is not suiting their needs. They're not solving the issues. They're not giving us an alternative.
Right.
We can do it right here.
Yo, underrated.
Oh shit.
Are there any other indications that we haven't touched on,
Hmm.
or any of you guys? Like, is there anything we haven't touched on in terms of an indicator of a heel turn?
Did we touch on the indicator where somebody is offering or giving solutions left and right, but they're not helping out the BAIO?
No. Speak on it.
Well, you have folks that are experts at something or very knowledgeable, and they may say in a platform where you could speak your mind and stuff or whatever, and be like, I don't know why we don't focus on um, agriculture because that's important to, grow food and crops. We need to have this system set, this kind of equipment, so that way the people can be more efficient and woo 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 woo. And it's like, wow, dang, sir. Thanks for the solution. What are you doing about it?
Okay, yeah, I get you. I get you.
Yeah, they never outline it, they never organize, they never reach out to organizations. They're just giving you like, yeah, this solution will work best, but okay, now how do we put that into practice? Well, I don't know about that now. I know the solution, I know the end game, but I don't know how to get there. And it's like it's great that you know the end game. We all have the end game. We all know we want to be in Liberia. We all have nation, but we know we got to get there first. Like you got to be able to get there.
I just want to let Baruti know this is going to take us way off the topic. So don't. We're not ignoring you, but it's kind of off topic to what we're talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
So we can get into that definitely some other time.
Hmm. And that's always been my thing. I'm just like, it's great that you had the solution, but you got to get there. You got to be able to get to point A to point B. You have to have a medium. You can't just say, well, this is how we get to point. This is point B. Okay, now how do we get there? So how do we establish this agricultural system? What do we need to do? Okay, who do we need to talk to? What are some of the goals that you have for whatever the agriculture that you're planning to do? That's never given. They give you vague solutions. And that's a problem because when you pressure them, then they'll say, oh, well, you're not appreciating what I'm giving you. It's like, no, we appreciate everything you're giving, but understand that you got to have this thoroughly settled out. Case in point, I had a friend who closely listens to the BIO, and he gave me some advice on the manifesto, and I didn't get upset. I was like, okay, I know that I got to be thorough with this manifesto. I need to be more specific with this manifesto. So let me go
Mhm.
back and edit it. Let me go back and see, how do I get from point A to point B? What are the medium that I do it? That's somebody who's genuinely cares about it and is not going to do a heel turn.
Definitely. It's constructive criticism. There's criticism that's constructive, and then there's criticism with affection, and then there's criticism to break somebody down.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you critique, it doesn't mean that the critique is always productive. Sometimes people critique you because they want to discourage you.
Mm-hmm.
So but you can tell usually if it's somebody who's critiquing you with affection, is because they're giving you critique to help make whatever you're doing better.
And
And usually
also,
that means that when like if you're doing something and somebody critiques it, what sounds better? Tell me how you feel about this, and they go, oh, this sucks. Or, I see what you were trying to do, but if we looked at it this way, you blah blah blah, blah, and they go through an explanation of why something isn't working for them. That's constructive.
mm-hmm.
And
and
helpful.
and that goes into another point of how you know somebody is gonna do a heel turn. A person who you know is going to do a heel turn is a person who doesn't give somebody accolades or appreciation, or they give them a thank you. They're just there. They're just like, yeah, it happened, but they never say, good job, trying to motivate people, get people pumped up, get people energetic. They're not that person. They're just like, hey, they're just there. Like, they're just like, they're not even engaged. Whereas a person who's genuine, they get people pumped up. So they're like, hey, man, great work out there. Or I see what you at, man. Good job. Can we do something like this? Or have you considered this? Or I'm concerned because you haven't considered this and I care about this. And I think this is something you need to consider. They're pumping them up along with the constructive criticism as well. They're giving them energy. They're giving them motivation. Because when you give people energy, that shows people that you're genuine. When you give people positive word saying you appreciate them. I appreciate you. I accept you, brother. I accept all of you. I accept your identity. I accept, your religion. You're allowed to practice your religion. You can do what you want. Feel free. Let's have this conversation. It shows engagement. It shows energy. It shows that positivity. And if that's not there, I have to question your motives, because we should be able to feel that energy. We should be able to see that energy. We should be able to know that energy is coming.
And
Energy is a huge indicator.
Yeah. Were you going to say something, Miss Sherry? I think you.
yeah, it's just there really isn't anything left other than that. You don't need specifics. If you can read energy alone, like Jabari's saying, um, the energy alone will show up in one of those forms on that sheet I gave you of the scales of opposition. That's the manifestation of how they will manifest. But before they manifest, the energy is there. And you have
Right.
to read people's energy. If it's not coming towards helping us move the needle, helping us define what we're trying to work on, that's the energy. And you know
Hmm.
what? If this isn't your thing, it's not your thing. But then this is not the group where you show up and try and do a half-assed or wear a mask, because that shit ain't gonna work here.
Let me build on that, because that's also another characteristic that's been consistent in the heel turns that I've experienced in my life. One of the things that you have to look out for is emotional distance. Because what people do right before they get ready to turn is they have to put some distance between you and them. That has to happen, because that makes it like people need to prepare themselves for whatever they're trying to do. So like by putting distance between you, emotional distance, it gives them a way to prepare themselves mentally for the turn. So that's another indicator. When you see people that, oh, why is this person not around? How come they don't ever seem to be involved in the things that we're doing? That's the reason why.
Yep, it goes to energy, because we can tell. We all know this. In the case of my point, I can tell the two people that we were discussing. I can instantly tell right off the bat the energy that they're giving is not right, based on the tone, based on the words that they use. I was like, okay, they're giving me bad vibes. I knew they give me bad vibes, but I'm just thinking maybe they can be, tolerable around. But eventually, I was like, I knew you weren't good anyways. Like I knew from the get go, most of the time, the energy that you bring is bad. The tone in which you speak is very, condescending, and you're just not a good person to be around. And I knew eventually it was gonna happen because I told Hollip earlier, before I was like, I think we should kick him out. I was like, I've been told that like, this man probably needs to go because the energy, the tone, everything that he's giving off is giving me indication that this man is not somebody to be around. He's not somebody positive to be around. And if you can do that, if you like to read the room and understand energy, you can tell this is somebody who's legit. This is somebody who's passionate. This is somebody who's considerate, and they're willing to. And also, you can tell if somebody is willing to learn, even because we've all had our frustrations of people who we talk to and it doesn't go the way. But you can tell off of energy somebody who's willing to listen because they're willing to engage you, they're willing to ask questions, they're willing to consider it. And so that's somebody who you can work with. That's somebody who is genuine, is not disingenuous, and will do a 180 on you.
I agree 1000%. I'm trying to think if there's some other indicators, but I think the number one for me is the one that I said at the beginning. It's like you're going to see that they don't, the way that their language is, it doesn't show that they're a part of the group. That's the main one. It's like whenever they start talking about the BAIO, it seems like the BAIO should be what is the BAIO? It's like this separation between themselves and the group is a key indicator that there's going to be a heel turn coming soon. Because when a person starts that, all it takes is for them to lose faith. Oh, thank you. I know another one. I can't believe I forgot this, but it made me just think of it. When they focus on an individual instead of the group. Let's say I don't like Jabari. I don't like the sound of his voice. I don't like his lifestyle. I just don't like him at all. Now that means I'm not joining the BAIO because I don't like Jabari. Forget about underrated, forget about Assyria, forget about Holland, forget about all the other members in the group. Because I don't like Jabari, I'm not going to be down with land, infrastructure, nationhood. That's another indicator of somebody who's going to give you a heel turn.
Yep.
Yeah, that's personalizing.
And
Somebody's
also that also should be a warning. If they're attacking one person or they don't like one person, that should be seen as attack against everybody. Because what you're gonna do is you're gonna disrupt the chemistry that we've had. You not liking this one person is not gonna create infighting, which means that we're not gonna be in sync. Chemistry is gonna be thrown off because we always have to factor in, this person doesn't like this person
Right.
doesn't like that person. So now it's like, no, you gotta go. Like you have to accept everybody in the group. If you're not going to accept everybody in the group, then you can leave because we're not going to have our chemistry out of sync because of a personal issue that you have. Now, mind you, if you have a personal issue that can be addressed, such as I don't like the way that this person treated me, or I don't like the way that you said this about me, or you said this, that is something that can be personally resolved. And we can say, listen, we can sit down, we can discuss it, we can resolve this issue. If it's a personal issue that somebody cannot change, such as their religious beliefs, such as their orientation, then no, you got to get up out of here. Because that's something that they're not going to change. As much as I may disagree with somebody, like I've always said, I'm not really that religious, but I'm African spiritual oriented. If there is a man who believes in Jesus and believes in Christianity all day, every day, by all means, he's gonna be up in this group, and he accepts me, and he accepts everybody in this group. Oh yeah, you can come on in this group. You can do your thing. You can talk about Jesus till he come back from as explained in Revelations. You can talk about Moses. You can talk about it all you want to. If you're Islamic, and you are for our people and you accept everybody in the group and you're willing to work with us at a unit, preach however much of the Quran you want to. But to me, what matters is you are accepting of everybody in the group, and you're on a good accord with everybody in the group.
Oh,
Because
that's a
one,
good question.
to the panel, the people whom you have engaged in and who have heel turn in reference to BL Jackson, what ideological directions have their heel turns moved towards? It's toxicity. It's toxicity. Straight up. We can tell you based on the person that Hobbs was referring to that starts with a D. We've seen him on the web, and he's talking about, see, the problem in the black community is drugs, is violence, is gangs. You see, this is what happens with Black America. This is what, like, I mean, it's just straight up degrading Black America. It's never giving an alternative. It's never saying, this is what we need to do, and if you listen to my vision, this is what's going to happen. No, it's straight up degrading. It's straight up, pushing down on the Black community, like we're animals. Like, people in the Black community are not addressing these issues, or at least attempting to address these issues. They just bashed him. Another thing is, and for the other person, it's geared towards a very exclusive, one-dimensional version of Blackness, which is, if you don't agree with my perspective of Blackness, you're not Black. You're not truly African. You're not truly Black. That's
Right.
what it's geared towards.
Right. Also, the ideological direction they move towards is the manosphere, MGTOW, red pill ideology, all this other
Conscious
stuff.
community.
Those are the ideological direction they move toward. And actually, it's like roads to nowhere, because usually most of the people that have done heel turns on us have nothing going on. They're just in an ideological wasteland right now. Basically, like, it's a circle jerk. They jerking each other off, and it's leading to nothing.
I want us to talk about, because I think this is a really good live on what we don't want. And in looking at the other side of the coin, I want us to talk about, or not talk about on this, obviously, but in future, about vetting, because that's the flip side of this coin.
That's a good thing to get into going into the conclusion of the show. That's a really good thing to get into. Can I start that?
Yes, sure. Go ahead.
Let me start it. I was talking with the people in our, the active members and the people in our chat about what BAIO membership dues are. And I narrowed it down to 4 things. And these are dues, and it has nothing to do with money. Here are the dues for BAIO membership. Number 1, subscribe to the BAIO social media platforms, meaning we got YouTube, we got Facebook, we got Twitter, we got Instagram, we got TikToks, all the, and even the main BAIO social media has other people who give social media, talk about land infrastructure, nationhood, who are BAIO members. Subscribe to them too. But the one thing, subscribe to the social media platforms. That's the number 1 thing. Now, to do that requires mouse click energy. That's it, mouse click energy. The second thing that for BAIO membership dues, and this is more mouse click energy, like, comment, share the BAIO social media content. What do I mean? When the BAIO produces a video, or let's say a live stream has come out, the first thing that I do, Mr. Holipsism, personally, is take that link and spread it on all of my social media platforms to let people know that this is what we're going to be talking about Sunday at noon. Every person has to ask themselves, do I do that? Because this is another, well, I'll get to that at the end. Number 3, post BAIO related content on your own social media platforms to promote land, infrastructure, and nationhood. Are you posting BAIO content related to LIN on your own platforms? Or is it a secret? Is it something that you can only talk about amongst us, but then you get around other people and nothing really to say? Number 4, post the BAIO logo of your state chapter on your social media platforms as your profile picture or avatar. Are you from New York? We got a New York State BAIO logo. You from LA? We got a California BAIO logo. You from Canada? We got a BAIO logo for Canada. You from the UK? We got BAIO logos for everywhere that you are in this world. Take that for your particular state or your country, post that on your social media as your avatar. So that way, I want to get people used to seeing this logo and going, what the hell is this? That's how things become viral. And I added one more, 5. I didn't discuss this one with y'all, but I guess this is kind of, self-explanatory. Bring in somebody else besides yourself into the BAIO. Even if it's just one person. What other people besides yourself have you told about the BAIO and brought them into the land infrastructure nationhood discussion? In other words, sign them up to the website and they became a member. Those are the BAIO membership dues. If there's more, y'all can add on. But I think all of this stuff that I just mentioned is mouse click energy. No blood and urine samples. You don't even have to leave your house. It's all things that you can do with the click of a mouse or a few keystrokes. And I will say this. If you can't do that, why are we even talking about going overseas, getting passports and setting up nationhood and stuff overseas? If we can't even do that simple thing like that. So yes, I'm judging you by that. And each person has to, there's another thing that I want to say. Each person has to ask themselves, am I doing all of those things? Because there's not going to be any overseeing committee. I'm not going to come and check your profile. I'm not going to come and check to see if you're sharing the video. You have to, as a person, take personal responsibility to do those things yourself. And if you're not doing them, then that should answer the question as to why is the BAIO not popular? Why are we not known? Why are people not talking about land infrastructure nationhood? If you're not doing those 5 things, you just answered your question. And that's all I got to say.
For me, a huge vetting is obviously the energy that I get. So based on whether or not you're actively engaged, whether or not you're accepting of everybody, whether or not you're uplifting people, that matters to me, and you're getting involved. I would also say in future, once we get stuff up and going, is following, obviously doing what Holland's doing, but for me, it would also be just doing what I'm going to lay out. You can ask everybody in this group chat. I've been laying out everything for people. I'm talking about manifesto, brochures, meetings, how everything, all of that's going to be laid out. All I need you to do, whoever decides, hey, I want to join and I want to start a chapter, just do what I'm going to lay out for you. I'm literally laying out everything for you, how it's going to be organized, how things should be done, what we believe in, why we believe in it. I'm literally telling you all of that. All you have to do is just follow it. If you can just do the basics of that, that to me would matter. Because eventually, like I said, eventually we're going to have chapters, and those chapters are going to be what? Formal. We're going to have the positions. We're going to have the objectives. And so if you can't do the basics of just not only sharing it, but just follow the blueprint that we're going to do, then it's going to be a problem.
Yeah, the ATL chapter is going to be the prototype.
Oh, yes.
So if you're in Atlanta, holla at Jabari. And there's plenty of people, BIO members in Atlanta.
Oh yeah, Atlanta's gonna be popping. I have one of my friends I was just talking to, and she was like, I know somebody who's an activist. Well, there you go, right there. We can get it started. I sent one of my friends everything about us. That's all it's gonna be. Just do that. Just like, share, make it known, and then just do what we have set out and planned on how it's going to be organized, how things are going to be run, positions, elections, everything. We're going to make sure all of that's in place. Just do it.
Just do it like Nike. A Siri?
Mm-hmm.
Underrated? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna flesh out that scales of opposition. I think we should add some more to that, beef it up, turn it into something for the website.
Yeah, I want to put the BAIO membership dues on the website too. I got to speak to the IT people about that.
As far as indicators, I think we covered just about everything.
Oh, I got
Yeah.
more.
Oh, you got more indicators?
Oh.
Go for it.
Yeah, I'm about
Well,
to say.
this is one I've seen in just my personal relationships where certain types of people that work under that umbrella of disingenuous, they show up and they always are investigating you. They ain't telling you nothing about themselves. They
Mm.
investigating you. So, like in this context, they would be like you said, what's the BIO doing? Who's this? Who's that? What's happening here? What's happening? So they're carrying on this investigation all the time. It's always like this infiltration of the mind. They're coming with questions, 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 but they're asking you to give information they're never given any. I find that's another consistent aspect of people who fall under that category.
Yep. I've experienced that too. Like I said, I've been Marty Jannetty plenty of times, man. I've been through that plate glass window. I have experienced the super kick. And that's the thing about the super kick and the heel turns is that you just don't see it coming until it actually happens. So you have to learn, you have to go back and then you have to analyze, well, damn, what did I miss? And that's how I came up with these indicators. Now I'm an expert. I can see it coming a mile away. And I'm a wrestling fan. So I'm used to a swerve.
Yeah, once you get to our age, you've had a
Oh,
couple hits
Boy, I
and
tell you,
knocks.
Brian be throwing shots,
yeah.
man. I swear.
I was about to say. I was gonna bring up Brian.
He be throwing shots, man. And he's 100% correct. Yo, I want to be your secretary. By the way, what is the BAIO? Like, what? Oh, so you want to be a secretary for something you know absolutely nothing about? Oh, yeah, there's nothing suspicious about that. Like, you might as well just have a sign on you that says spy. Well, you wearing decals like they do in NASCAR. Like, I'm owned by this person. But yeah, he's right. He's right. I want to be the secretary, but I don't know what the BAIO is about.
And that's gonna come.
Red
like
flag.
I said, that's gonna come to the formal. That's gonna be the formal thing when we're gonna give out the criteria. You have to know this stuff, like because any organization there's expectations and there are requirements that you have to do. If you're gonna be a member and you want to see this happen, we're gonna have expectations on how many meetings you have to attend, what needs to be done, how you lay it out. There are expectations. And if
Right.
you cannot accept those expectations, then you don't need to be a part because the thing about an organization is meant for people who have a mission and they want to see that mission fulfilled. It's not meant for you to come in to get brownie points or to make you feel good. Okay. I mean, although it's great, it's going to be great and it's going to feel good when you actually achieve it. Okay. That's when the feel good needs to kick in. But this is not just to boost your profile. Like, yeah, I'm part of this organization. Okay. We want people who, yes, I am part of this organization because it means something to me. It gives me purpose. And I want to see this vision come through. They make very good points. They have a good vision. They have good leadership. They bring good energy. And I want to be a part of that. I want to follow that. I want to be a part of that. I want to do something. I want to say when this comes into fruition, I was a part of this movement. I did something.
Right. Right. Because I know for me personally, I tell people this all the time. I am a part. Don't ask me to be a part of no damn cause. I am not down with any causes because I done been through that game, been there, done that. The reason why I'm with the BAIO is because I believe in BAIO principles. The principles are consistent with the principles that I'm about. And once you believe in the principles and you have those principles, it doesn't matter about individuals. What do they say? You know, the small mind thinks of people, average mind thinks of places and things, and the great minds think of ideas. I want to be with the ideas and concepts people. Sorry, Siri, what were you saying?
No, that's exactly the distinction. What we have to make. You know, we have to live that. That's exactly where we are, and we may not be 100% where we need to be, but you look at, is this organization trending towards that? And I think we are.
Yeah. And I think our foundation is strong because if we don't have a strong foundation, it doesn't matter. We can get popular overnight and then it just fail epically because we didn't have a strong foundation.
And that's why we do all the organizing. That's why we do the manifesto and the brochure, because all of this has to be settled out. So when we actually go national, everybody knows this is the prototype, this is the blueprint, this is what's expected, this is what's required. And my final points before we close off is that I want people to know when they hear the BAIO, they think of us as we give off good energy, we're accepting, we're positive. Like, man, yeah, I want to join. Look at the positive energy. They bring so much joy to me. They're not the people who they all this blackety black stuff. They trying to see who blacker than who. They like, nah, if you about this goal, if you are about Liberia, if you are about, they will welcome you with open arms. If you accept everybody, you join hands with them, you see them as your fellow brother and sister that can bring the same potential as you, they will love you. They will elevate you. That's what I want people to think about the BL. Somebody who's positive, somebody who knows where we're going. And most of all, we have the personnel, we have the energy. And that to me is what matters. Like I said, I am welcoming to everybody because I understand in this day and age, I can read the room. I understand I need to be inclusive of everybody who are of different religions, who don't believe in religion, who are Satanists, okay? People who believe in different economics theories that we can later on debate, people who are of different genders, identities, and orientations. But it's
Right.
about understanding that. It's because I understand that that is what it's going to require.
And also, the most important thing is that we all have a common denominator. The common denominator is land, infrastructure, nationhood.
Yeah, and like
That's
in
the
Liberia.
agenda.
Yep.
That's the agenda. So it's long. So it doesn't matter what your personal lifestyle is. Are you down with land, infrastructure, nationhood? Are we talking about those things? Because if we're not talking about those things, then we're getting caught off. It's so easy to be divided. We're already divided. But what we've done is we've managed to narrow this shit down to a clear and concise vision. That's what we should all be on the same page for.
And our thing is not vague. We're specific. We know where we want to go, where we want to be. We know what nation we're talking about. There's no ambiguity with where the nation is going to be. We already told you in our profile, Liberia. That's what we focus on. You can do other parts in other parts of the continent. We can have satellite communities, but our goal and our focus is Liberia. Period.
Base of operations. That's the important term. Our base is Liberia. And on that note, I don't think we need to say anything else.
No, I think it was all said. Well done, gentlemen.
Thank you. Thank you for
you,
your
everybody.
presence. As usual, it's lovely to have the feminine energy as a part of this.
Thank you.
Hooly hoo.
See everybody at the lounge. What are we going to be talking about at the lounge today, Underrated?
Oh, yeah.
General discussion. It's not really any topic for tonight.
Okay, well, I will definitely be there.
Yeah, I got a long weekend, so
I'm
I
off.
got
Yeah,
time.
I'm off tonight, so I got plenty of mouth. I'm trying to figure out how Jabari's microphone is louder than everybody else's. What the hell is up with that? This dude be drowning niggas out.
It's crazy. No, I'm just using my headphones. I didn't know I was that loud.
Your mic is loud, son. Like if you start talking, nobody can talk. Like that's it.
Damn. What
I'm like,
headphones are
what the
those?
hell? I gotta get me those.
I guess the volume must be great today.
Anyway, y'all, love y'all. I'll catch y'all later. I'm gonna go out and get some sun.
All right.
Peace, everybody.
Peace,
Peace.
everybody. See you
Peace.
later.